finally, we get to see the new and improved Halo Infinite campaign. 343 Industries has kept the campaign behind hidden doors for long enough, and that music was the best way to kick things off, especially after last year's reveal, which was met with a lot of people criticizing the game. Yet now, we get new enemies, bosses, AI companions, weapons, and of course, the massive open world. Let's get into all the details because this campaign trailer looks amazing, and I think it truly shut up a lot of the critics. Let's get into this. Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, make sure to hit that small little bell icon. It helps out the channel a lot. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into this campaign trailer because there's a lot to tackle in this one. The first thing I want to say is that the year-long delay by Xbox and 343 looks to be the right choice. You can easily see the improvements to the visuals of the game and also see that they've polished this thing to the max. Now, I know this is just a trailer, but it's also something that we've talked about before. Is this year-long delay going to help the developers make a better looking game and a more polished game that the Halo players deserve? Well, that question was answered with this trailer. We saw some of the best looking Halo gameplay I've ever seen, and I'm glad we got to see the open world in a little part of the campaign map. This game is starting to feel a little bit like Far Cry, where we'll have the open world to explore, bases to take over, and activities to do, all while being Master Chief. This reminds me a little bit of Gears 5, where all the previous Gears games were linear and very story-driven, yet in Gears 5 we got hub worlds that were open with very minor activities around the world that you can do. Yet it was something that I thought was a good direction for the franchise because it opens it up to RPG elements, open world elements, and of course, bigger, grander stories that they can tell. That's what I saw from Halo Infinite's campaign trailer, but at a much, much deeper level and bigger scale. You can see that they went all in with the open world with this game because it's something they've talked about before. And last year, during their showing of the game, you can tell they wanted to focus on the open world aspect of Halo Infinite. You saw bases driving around and Master Chief taking out enemies across the entire planet. The game is filled to the brim with awesome Halo lore and gameplay. The main thing I've wanted from this game from day one. In fact, this game has really shut down a lot of the critics that attacked the game over a year ago. Here's what was said by writers across the gaming media. Where our first glimpse of Halo Infinite's campaign gave us a straight run through a single mission, today's overview provided a well overview of how this open-ended Halo will play out. To that end, we do in fact see plenty of open world trappings with Chief approaching Banish, a new hot covenant that comes with a bright red makeover, bases, and blowing them the hell up with rocket launches, grenades, and thrown explosive barrels. As someone who's adored their time with the multiplayer fights, it's exciting to see that same sandbox applied to traditional Halo baddies like Jackals and Hunters. But there are some less traditional Halo elements, including bosses with full-on health bars and vehicle stations that let you literally pluck wasps and warthogs from the sky. This was put very well. We did get a very good glimpse at the campaign story and events that transpire after Halo 5. Because we have to remember, this game takes place after the events of Halo 5. We see Master Chief trying to find out what happened with Cortana, who was his longtime partner in crime, so to speak. Cortana went maverick and tried to destroy all of humanity. So what does Master Chief do? Well, he tries to find another AI that's named the Weapon. We hear them hint at this weapon in the trailer. This AI was designed to counter Cortana in case something like this happens. Yet the Banished, I believe, are looking for the same weapon, and so they've allied with a Covenant to accomplish the same mission. The main thing in their story is, of course, the Master Chief himself. That's something I have to talk about because that's what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see Locke, I didn't want to see any other characters, I wanted to see Master Chief, and he was in full display and has been in full display this entire time with the game. Now, I don't know if any of you know who the Banished are, but they were a massive part of the Halo Wars 2 campaign. That game had one of the best Halo campaigns I've ever played. They were the Covenant as an antagonist that was these brute-led called the Banished. So in turn, Halo Infinite is going to also have some story beats that will coincide with that game that came out in 2017. As you can see, Halo and 343 Industries is taking a lot of these story beats they've built over the last several years and is bringing them all into this one single game, which has me excited because I've played every single one of those games and enjoyed them immensely, and I've honestly enjoyed the campaign a lot. lot. And I'm excited to see their stories continue in this massive open world RPG-esque Halo Infinite game. Which brings me to the Halo Infinite world and the RPG elements we were just talking about, which is something that the article mentions right here. A peek at the world map also shows us collectibles and side missions like the aforementioned Outpost Assault. While there are also upgrade trees to add more charges to unique like grappling hooks and repulsors, it also appears you'll have a Spartan killing elite stalking you throughout the campaign. And for as much as Infinite wants to move beyond 343's previous games, the studio couldn't resist bringing back some ancient Forerunner adjacent aliens. So the first thing we have to mention is that the world is going to be massive. We easily saw the main missions, which will be epic and have some set pieces that we truly love. I'm sure that's going to happen, you know, like Halo usually does. But the one thing we haven't really seen yet has to be the side missions, which I think they focused heavily on in this trailer. We see that they talk about the banished outposts and how they've taken control of the map because of the resources there. We see Master Chief take out the entire camp and even destroy the machines they put in place. We also saw Master Chief take out a camp of enemies that were holding prisoners with a mechanism that held about 3 or 4 allies. Once you free them, the cool part about the game is that they don't just stand there or run away like some games do. In fact, they jump into the Warthog and start fighting with Master Chief. Man, I just can't wait to play this game. It looks so expansive, and I'm kind of having a hard time tempering my expectations because this is something I truly think people will have a great time playing, especially since Halo has finally gone the open world route. And like I said earlier, this isn't like Gears 5 world hubs. Instead, this looks like a true open world game that we can sink our teeth into and get a lot of game time in and maybe find some cool things that we've never known about the Halo universe. Oh, and we also saw an upgrades tab right here, as you can see on screen. If you look on screen, you can easily see they have a drop wall upgrade, threat sensor, shield core, and a bunch of other abilities you could upgrade. This is massive RPG elements that the game is going to try and show us and keep us intact with. You can even upgrade your thruster and grapple shot. I mean, you will upgrade your Spartan as you go through the campaign, which is just fine by me. And that was just a quick showing of that selection chart. Yet that's not what I was focusing on. Instead, I wanted to focus on that tab that's 2 over. Do you see that targets tab? Now that's something that's very interesting to me. In the campaign trailer, they talk about Spartan killing elites that will be stalking you throughout the campaign, especially one that they dropped by name. Okay, so let's break that down. You'll have enemies attacking you and trying to assassinate you, which I believe will turn into these pretty awesome boss battles that could happen at any time across the world. Yet I think if you choose, you could hunt them down instead. Maybe find things about them, and they'll turn into targets for you across the world. Think of it like Assassin's Creed cultists hunting in Odyssey. You'll be able to hunt these elite killers down and maybe even take them out before they disturb you in the open world. Because they showed a lot of units we've never seen before and even mentioned that one Spartan killer by name. They also showed very unique units that we've never had to deal with along with other bosses. The game looks insanely expansive with the amount of units you'll have to fight against, and Master Chief is the only one probably equipped to fight them, so that sounds like a lot of fun. That's my first guess, but this could also be targets across the map you have to take out, maybe outposts, or things that are high value targets to the war effort around the world you're on. I could see that also being something that could happen in the world because they did show a lot of bases across the map you can take care of, and seeing all those vehicles that you can freely choose makes taking those bases out or assassinating those targets pretty fun if you ask me. And for the first time, we'll actually see enemies with health bars above their heads, because we will see those enemies that are boss fights. That's something that I don't think Halo has ever done before, unless you count Halo Wars and the health bars above massive units or buildings. Either way, this game is starting to look pretty crazy and very different than what we've seen from Halo. It's why I'm glad 343 Industries and Xbox decided to delay the game for a year, especially after that showing they had last year. Don't get me wrong, last year I enjoyed what I saw. I loved the gameplay, the open world, the map of course, and that 10-minute mission we saw was great. Yet you could tell the game needed to be polished and optimized for a little longer. So Xbox took the time and decided to truly give the developers a full year to make the best possible Halo game they could. That cost Xbox and Microsoft millions upon millions of dollars. And I'm glad they did that, because this game, after that trailer, after those tech tests, has shot up to my most anticipated game of the year, and it's not even close. Even with co-op not being there, which makes me sad, I'm still excited because I want to jump into this open world. This game has Halo written all over it. It has RPG elements written all over it. It has unique enemies, abilities, weapons, bosses, and so many more things. It's starting to turn into a massive, and I truly mean massive game that I never saw coming. The Far Cry comparisons are going to be flying all over the place, and I can see why. Yet for me, this is going to be an epic Halo game, and I see myself playing for hours on end. So yeah, I'm glad they waited to show the campaign, but as you can tell, they kept this very close to the vest and wanted this to be something special. And they decided to show it right after Sony announced their state of play, and they showed this when the holiday season is about to kick off. All I can say is that Halo Infinite and 343 Industries really did shut up the critics, because that campaign trailer showed me something I haven't seen in a Halo game for a long time, which is hope. Hope that this game is going to actually come out and be very good. Hope that this game is not in that much trouble. And I think the campaign is going to be something that contends for Game of the Year. After seeing everything, it's completely changed Halo. It's not the same linear thing, and you can see that they really went in there trying to make Halo into something different, yet still keep some of its core, and I think they did a perfect job with that, at least in this trailer. But let me know what you think about this Halo Infinite campaign trailer. Did it make you excited for the game? Were you surprised by the RPG elements? Will this help Xbox sell even more consoles? Does this make you excited to play the game on Game Pass Day 1 on your PC or your Xbox? Will you play this on the Series X or your PC? Are you finally done questioning this game and the developers? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I've been playing a lot of games. I have a review coming out for Xbox. They provided me a code, so you'll be seeing that in the next day or two. But right now, I'm really jumping into Far Cry. I'm going to be jumping into Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm honestly going to be waiting for Forza, because I just feel like a big open world racing game, and Forza is the best racing franchise out there, so I'm looking forward to that. But let me know what you're playing. Are you on your PS5, your Xbox Series X, or are you on your PC? Let me know down below, because I love talking about what games you're playing and if you suggest anything to me. So go down below and let me know. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.